What's going on, Bills Mafia? This is Gen716 back here again, and today I want to talk to you guys about how the Buffalo Bills could slow down Lamar Jackson in this football game. Of course, Buffalo takes on Baltimore in Buffalo. It's gonna be one hell of a crowd. I can't wait for that football game to start. But Lamar Jackson, he's been one of the hardest quarterbacks to figure out because there are so many elements in his game, right? Whether if he can maneuver around in the pocket, right, when there's pressure generated towards him, man, he can escape it easily. Using his quickness, using his speed, he can throw the football pretty much anywhere down the field. He can throw it deep down the field accurately. He's great when it comes to short intermediates throws. His receivers and tight ends, and especially with himself, they have great chemistry. So Lamar Jackson, he definitely knows where to place the balls needed to be. He's just been one of the hardest quarterbacks to figure out, man, and just in general. But there are so many key players that surround Lamar Jackson that make him what he is. That for defensive coordinators, it's hard to really set up a game plan or blueprint as far as how to stop him, how to really neutralize him. And it's just been really, really hard for a lot of defensive coordinators to figure that out. Now, the Buffalo Bills, they're third. They are ranked third in the league in defense. They got 37 sacks. Really, some of the most underrated players in the NFL. But I do believe that this team has the personnel to slow Lamar Jackson down, and hopefully, I know I'll go over it, and hopefully Buffalo can maybe implement it in their game plan, or hopefully they'll do something better than what I am about to explain, and could shut Lamar Jackson down. So anyway, guys, let's hop straight into it. So one of the first things that I think that Buffalo has to do is that they have to control the interior. That has been a weakness for the Buffalo Bills, maybe since Miami kind of exposed it. Now there's Jordan Phillips, there's Star Lutulele, there's Corey Lugic. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but Corey and Harrison Phillips, he's out for the rest of the year. But we've had guys in the interior that we like to plug and play, and they've done a good job at generating pressure. Right, as far as pass rushing from the interior, we have been excellent. But as far as run defense, we have not been good from the interior. And Baltimore's strength is their run blocking offensive line. Now they can pass block as well, but that offensive line is suited to running the ball, and they love to run it with those read options and with those read options. But they love to also run quarterback power plays. They like to give it to Mark Ingram, a very, very explosive running back who's very, very tough to bring down, who can get you those yards after contact. They love to run him sometimes inside as well. But yeah, that offense is suited to wearing down a defense, kind of like how Philly did to the Buffalo Bills, which is how they beat us, or kind of how the Cleveland Browns kind of did. So we got to do a better job of really enforcing the interior, right? If we can control that interior, if we can dominate that interior, I think that you take an element away from Lamar Jackson's game, where if you can take that away, you're now focusing on trying to contain Lamar Jackson and force him inside, where your defensive linemen, where your linebackers can scrape and potentially get Lamar Jackson down for maybe some 2, 3, 4 yard gains. Maybe Mark Ingram can get 2, 3 yard gains. You don't want him to, you don't want the Ravens to get 4, 5, 6 yard runs almost on every single play. You don't want that happening because that's what Baltimore wants. Right, that's what they want. They want to wear you down and make you tired and just out physical you. They want to overpower you. They want to do whatever it takes to shut the defense down. But I definitely think that is a major thing that Buffalo has to figure out. They have got to figure out how they can do well in the interior against this Baltimore Ravens offensive line that is really freaking good at running, especially between those tackles and also between the guard and the center. A second thing that, of course, Buffalo has to do is that their linebackers have got to be disciplined. Now, Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds, maybe of the most underrated linebackers that we've seen in the league. Not a lot of people mention them. But Tremaine Edmonds, particularly for him, he's got to play his best game. Most particularly, he's got to play disciplined football, right? They love to run read option plays. They love to run RPOs. They love to use Lamar Jackson as far as the quarterback sweeps and power runs. But they also love to use misdirections. They just love to fool you. They also love to use two tight end sets. Especially coming off the read option. They love to use their two tight end sets with Mark Andrews and Nick Boyle. So for really in this game, right, Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds, they got to play disciplined football. They really have to use their eyes and read the play. They really have to read the play, because if they don't, Baltimore can kill you. They can kill you with 1,000 cuts, right? They can kill you in a lot of ways, but in 1,000, but Baltimore, they love to use the 1,000 cuts method and just wear you down. So Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds, they got to play disciplined football. They have to learn, really for chemistry too, right? Because a lot of the plays, right, as far as scraping and all that stuff goes, chemistry between, the two inside linebackers, that is very, very important. That is very, very important from a Sam backer and from a Mike backer, that they have to have that chemistry as far as going against a team like this. So for Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds, they got to play disciplined football, read and react, and also they got to be strong also in the interior, because that's what Baltimore loves to do. Tre'Davious White, if I was Buffalo at this point, I would shadow Marquis Brown. Willie Snead, he's their number 2. But I don't know. Willie Snead he's an okay receiver. You just have to hope that Kevin Johnson, or if Levi Wallace, those guys can play well. Marquise Brown, I'm shadowing him every single time, and I'm confident in Tre'Davious White's speed that he can play man-to-man coverage and shadow on the inside of Marquise Brown. Right? He's a guy that can who can take the top off the defense, but he's also a really, really good route runner. You're gonna have to take that threat away. Right? If Tre'Davious White can take that threat away, then again, it takes another element from Lamar Jackson's game. Marquise Brown has been that deep threat, has been that, I wouldn't say security blanket, but he's been that guy that, if the defense starts to really respect the run game, and if they're really good at it, Lamar Jackson loves to look at either the two tight ends, or he loves to sometimes go to his deep read, which is Marquise Hollywood Brown. I think another thing that has to happen is Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Those guys are going to have to make open space tackles. Now, coverage-wise, I'm not really worried about those two, because arguably that might be the best, coverage safety duo in the entire NFL. But as far as open space tackles goes, those guys are going to have to make open space tackles. Primarily against if Lamar Jackson, if he does get into the open field, he's fast enough that he can burn you, or he can sometimes wear you down with just his legs, with his juking ability, with his cuts, whether if it's to the inside or to the out. He can wear down safeties, and he can also wear down other players in the secondary with just his ability alone. They're gonna have to make open space tackles. They're gonna have to make open space tackles. Against Lamar Jackson or whoever has the ball in this game. They're gonna have to make those open space tackles. Again, I can't emphasize that enough. They're gonna have to step up and make open space tackles if the Buffalo Bills defense can slow down Lamar Jackson. Does the crowd have an influence in this game? Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, they've played in a lot of tough games and a lot of tough situations. But coming into Buffalo, it's going to be a very, very hyped crowd. I expect Buffalo's 12th man to also step up here and also play a factor as far as getting as loud as possible, maybe affecting Lamar Jackson as far as, what plays he can call out. The defensive ends, Jerry Hughes. He's not been a disappointment, but he hasn't been what I expected him to be, right? He hasn't been that true number one pass rusher, right? Shaq Lawson has really been their best pass rusher. Really, Jordan Phillips has actually been their best pass rusher, especially for him coming inside the interior. But Trent Murphy, Jerry Hughes, those guys have kind of been. Jerry Hughes can get to the quarterback. His problem is that he just can't sack the quarterback. Right, he misses a lot of sacks. Now, whether if that's just because he's going too fast, or maybe that's just way too much adrenaline, I don't know what the problem is with that. But he's going to have to. But for him particularly, well, if he gets a chance to get at Lamar Jackson, he's got to make tackle. He's got to make the tackle. He's got to make the sack, particularly against Lamar Jackson, who can make you miss at any point and any time, especially if you can generate pressure for him in the pocket. Trent Murphy, again, Shaq Lawson, Trent Murphy, Jerry Hughes, they're going to have to play outside contained. You want to force Lamar Jackson inside. Now, a lot of teams have done that, and that's what Baltimore wants. They want to wear you down. But that goes back to my point that if the Bills can dominate the interior, if they can control the interior, that's where Matt Milano, that's where Lorenzo Alexander, that's where Tremaine Edmonds comes in, where those guys can scrape and definitely tackle Lamar Jackson or tackle whoever has the ball for those minimum 2 to 3 yard gains. That's what you want. Every yard is definitely important, especially going against a team like the Baltimore Ravens, who can kill you with 1,000 cuts. Matter of fact, that's their preferred way, is by death by 1,000 cuts. And the Buffalo Bills, they're gonna have to really play some really, really good elite, not even good, like they're gonna have to play elite defense and really dominate that interior and play smart and disciplined football if they're gonna have a chance of containing this Baltimore offense. But anyway, guys, that's all I got. Again, I know I'm not the smartest guy in the world especially when it comes to football, but I try to give you my best insight for what I've seen as possible. Again, I think that San Francisco was maybe not. I think they were the first team to maybe give you a blueprint of how to get it done. The problem is that not a lot of teams have the personnel like San Francisco's. I think Buffalo, they're not as talented as San Francisco, but they play smart and disciplined football, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for you for today. If you guys liked the video, I would appreciate it if you guys would hit that subscribe button, hit that, definitely click on those notifications. If you guys want more sports daily content, share the video because it really helps, and also like it because it also has the channel as well. So anyway, that's all I got. This is Gen 716. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.